Sports Betting is your home for picks, props, and futures for tonight's action. Bettor Sports Betting wants to know what picks you're playing tonight. Tell us in the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show on Bettor Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm, Twitter, YouTube, the BSN app. We appreciate everyone that's joining us here on a Wednesday afternoon. I got Howard Bender with me to talk through some MLB futures after the trade deadline, a busy trade deadline yesterday. We had John and Pem on the show yesterday and just kind of reacting to some of the trades that were happening live. But obviously the trade deadline was 2 hours after the show. We had some more moves going in, but it's good to take stock of all these trades now and kind of look ahead, see what futures we like. Howard, how are you doing today, post-trade deadline?
I'm doing okay. I'm still trying to finalize my my fantasy rankings over at fantasyalarm.com. Adam Ronas and I wanted to wait until the trade deadline was over before we finalize things. And just as anybody who's been watching BSN all day today knows, this is my fourth show, so I haven't been able to finish my rankings yet. I'll do them probably like right after this show and then right after the Sirius XM show, so they will be out. In the meantime, though, sprinkle. A lot of interesting futures that I love now here on the post trade deadline.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming in here for your third of 4 shows that you're doing today, right?
Fourth of fifth today.
Fourth of fifth. Oh yeah, the Bettor Morning Show. But yeah, you've been busy talking some football, but you got to switch gears to that baseball brain on now. But yeah, we want to give some futures picks and kind of leans, predictions out for the people now that we have kind of taken stock of where teams are standing. We have some clear teams that are buying, that did buy, and teams that sold, some teams that didn't do anything that are in the playoff hunt. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. And we'll be breaking down some of like our favorite trades here as we're kind of going through how they affect the odds board right now. But give us a futures pick that you like based on what kind of went down the last few days.
I mean, listen, I know that the Houston Astros, they got Justin Verlander, and that's, big, a big move for them, especially the day after Framber Valdez throws a no-no. So that's a great 1-2 punch, but I love what the Texas Rangers have done. I mean, listen, their lineup solid as anything. We've talked about it throughout the entire year, 1 through 6, rock solid. But you know what, man? They add Jordan Montgomery. They add Max Scherzer. That's a fantastic tandem that you're adding to this pitching staff. That, I mean, Nathan Eovaldi, John Gray, like these guys are good role players to have. So I think, this 1-2 punch with Montgomery and Scherzer, I definitely love it. So I already put the money down on it. Texas Rangers plus 130 to win the AL West. And the Rangers at plus 550 to win the American League. I mean, I think that one of the things that we saw as far as the deadline went, the only team that's coming out of the Central is Minnesota. Everybody else is completely given up and selling off parts. I just don't have any confidence in the Yankees, who didn't do anything. The Red Sox didn't really do anything either. So you've got the Rays, you've got the Blue Jays, and you've got the Orioles in the East. You've got the Rangers, and you've got the Astros in the West. I'm not even like buying in on the Twins on the overall to compete. So I think the path actually opened up a little bit better for the Texas Rangers. So, plus 130 and plus 550, I think that's definitely worth a little sprinkle.
I like that too. It's basically between, for the AL to come out of the AL. I think it's between the Astros and Rangers, and we've talked about the Rangers doing things, trade wise on this show. When we talked about Scherzer going there, I remember before the trade deadline, we were talking and saying if they want to really make a push and go for it, they need to make some moves, and they made a ton of moves. You were saying it, but I like how much in they went on it. a Jordan Montgomery trade, kind of small in the scheme of things. He's an above average pitcher, but he's going to be a really good veteran arm for them, come postseason play. And obviously the Scherzer thing too. But I like that call, but I'll go with the Astros here. I think I said between the Astros and Rangers for me. I'm not totally in on the Rays or Orioles. And when you're looking at the AL futures, so I like the Astros plus 350 to win the American League on DraftKings right now. I like the little moves. They didn't make a ton of moves here, but I like the little things that they did do. Kendall Graveman is a great get for their bullpen, I think, because they're outside of Ryan Presley and maybe you could say Hector Neris, but I think outside of Presley, there were some question marks in that bullpen when you get to the later innings. So I like that the fact that they add Graveman here to give them another late inning arm. And then Verlander is the big get for them that they landed yesterday. They needed a starting pitcher for sure. I would have liked to see them get maybe one more, but I like that they got Verlander, the guy that won, the World Series last year, and he's back there now. But they needed a starting pitcher because they were leaning a little too heavy on, their top guys, Valdez. Christian Javier's been a little bit down, but leaning on their young guys a little bit too much too. So I like the Verlander get for them. Their offense, I'm not worried about now that Alvarez and Altuve are back healthy. And if they all stay healthy and clicking, and if they start getting some contribution from Jose Abreu, watch out. So I like this Astros team. It's basically between the Astros and Rangers. So we do agree on the Rangers there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the American League might actually just come down to one of these two teams from the West. I really do believe that. I think that, we've seen, as solid as Tampa Bay is, right? And then they add Aaron Savali to their rotation. As solid as they've been, they've definitely tapered off, as the season's gone on. So, I feel like the two big juggernauts in this league, the American League, are Houston and and Texas. So I like seeing those guys fight it out. Now, that's not to say I don't like those Baltimore Orioles. This might not be the most popular take, but at plus 110, the Baltimore Orioles to win the American League East, say what you want about some of the inconsistencies and early on struggles coming back from an injury, but I love that Jack Flaherty get. That's what Baltimore needed, a good, strong arm. We'll see what happens with Grayson Rodriguez. I know he pitches tonight. But I think that was a really important get for them to help boost their position. So I like the Orioles to win the AL East at plus 110. I mean, those are the same odds as the Tampa Bay Rays. So what's that tell you?
I know it's pretty much a toss up for them. And even though the Rays made a couple of those moves, I just don't think it's going to move the needle so much for them that they should be, the favorites over the Orioles here. So I like getting the Orioles there plus money when it's basically split between them. I mean, the Orioles, dude, we're going to touch on it for tonight's game. I know we both like the Orioles tonight, it looks like, but they're not slowing down after the All-Star break. They're not slowing down after the trade deadline. They're going for this. And Flaherty's a very good get for them because they needed a pitcher. Just so many young arms in that rotation. But I think adding a pitcher, they did not add any bats. Just kind of looking through their trades, they added a lot of pitchers. A couple of relievers too. But obviously the Flaherty trade, but no big trades to get a bat. I thought maybe they would go for it with whether it's Teoscar Hernandez or whoever else was out there. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather take a chance on the Orioles than the Rays to win that division too. So I like that.
Yeah, Mike Elias he's never been about making a big splash at the trade deadline. I think this Flaherty get is probably the biggest splash that we've seen Mike Elias give Baltimore. But I mean, again, this is also one of the few times that they're actually in it to win it. So nice to see.
Well, and last year though, they were just outside the wild card race at the trade deadline, and they were kind of selling. They traded away Jorge Lopez, I remember, which was a big deal because he was their really good closer from the beginning of the season. And I'm sure Orioles fans were probably upset that they maybe weren't buyers at the deadline. So it is nice to see them adding here and just kind of being confident that they can do this. They can win this division. I mean, because I know you don't want to bring up the Yankees here, but they're kind of trending in the wrong direction in this division, right? And the Red Sox too are just they're not taking advantage. They're not really gaining much ground here. So it's basically the Orioles and Rays here.
I mean, for now, listen, anything can happen. I mean, we just started the month of August, so you got 2 months right now where we could see some movement. But no, I mean, the Yankees didn't really do anything. And I mean, listen, but you've got some strong pitching on that team. Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon is back. He's pitching tonight. You're also looking at Domingo Germán, if he's healthy. So you're not looking at a team that's, Aaron Judge is back. You're not looking at a team that's bereft of talent. They just haven't been able to put it together all year. So, I'm never going to rule anything out and say that, but I think the Yankees and the Red Sox, for either one of these teams to make a significant enough push that's going to move the needle, like, I think then that's going to be then they're going to spend all of their energy down the stretch, and come playoff time, you're going to see Texas and Houston just kind of own the playoffs.
Yeah. Another staying in the American League, a bet that I like that is very juicy, but I just don't see it's just a lock for me. I don't see how this is losing. Is the Twins winning the AL Central? It's minus 300, very juicy, as I mentioned, but this is more about what the Guardians did, because it's basically between the Twins and Guardians here. The Guardians just basically are punting on this. They're not, they didn't make any moves to get better. They gave away Aaron Savali to the Rays. They gave, trade away Josh Bell for a prospect, Khalil Watson, and end up cutting Gene Segura, who came back in that trade. They got prospect back from the Rays, Kyle Manzardo, for the Savali trade. It just seems like they're looking towards next season and 2 years from now. The Noah Syndergaard trade does not really do much for me from the Dodgers, giving away Rosario in that trade as well. So,
dude, Noah Syndergaard pitched like a champ in his debut, right?
Yeah, that was a little unexpected.
Oh my God, man!
I think Monday you gave out the Astros in the first 3 innings run line.
Yeah, you just got kicked in the balls on that one in a huge way. Like, really? And it wasn't. It was nice though. Jordan Alvarez did hit that home run. I got my daily dinger in there, but it certainly wasn't off of Syndergaard. I had to sweat that to the 7th inning.
Yeah, it wasn't off Syndergaard. Yeah, you cashed that and the run scored prop that you gave out too.
Barely.
Barely, but it wasn't while Syndergaard was in there. But I just don't see Syndergaard keep continuing to do this.
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not.
And I just see the Twins. I'm fine laying the minus 300 if you want to pay up for a little bit, because I just they're gonna take this division. I just don't see another way they don't, because the Guardians have not. They didn't do anything to improve their team.
No, I mean it would take a collapse of epic proportions.
Yes,
for Minnesota to lose this division now, just based on the fact that Kansas City's atrocious. Cleveland has sold off their better assets, and Detroit? No. And then
dude, if I was a Cleveland fan, I'd be pretty upset right now. They're 2 games back in the division.
Yeah.
They're losing to the Astros. They're playing right now, but this is very winnable, this division. It's not like the Twins are this juggernaut team. I don't understand why they're clearly, like I mentioned, they're looking towards next season. It looks like, bringing in that first base prospect from the Rays and the shortstop Watson prospect. But, I think they're just kind of handing it to the Twins here. So, yeah, minus 300. It's a lot, but whatever.
Super juicy.
What else do you like futures wise?
I futures wise, the only thing else that I threw down a little bit of action for was just because, and this is strictly off of a vibe that I got from Jim Bowden talking to general manager AJ Preller. Because listen, I don't think adding Rich Hill is the missing piece to the puzzle. But I threw, I threw a little something on San Diego Padres plus 250 to make the playoffs. Now, if you look at look at the playoffs. Look at the wild card situation going right now in the National League. And I just want to pull it up because I don't want to misquote anything. But here we go. The Padres, they're 4.5 games out of a wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in front of them, the Cubs, which, okay, they opted to say, you know what, we're not going to sell off our big pieces. We feel like we're in this race and we don't need to do that. Do they have the firepower really to make that happen? I don't really know. And then you've got the Diamondbacks and the Miami Marlins, and then you've got the Milwaukee Brewers sitting there. Like, oh, and you got the Giants and the Phillies. The Giants and the Phillies right now own the wild card spots. Like, so does Milwaukee. Those are the 3 teams that have that spot. I think that the Padres have a very, very strong potential of getting really hot here in these last 2 months and leapfrogging these teams, because Arizona didn't really do anything. I mean, they got Paul Sewald to help with the bullpen. They didn't really do anything to really boost themselves. The Miami Marlins, I think Jake Berger was their big bat that they added to that team. So I don't really buy into that. And then I tell you what, man, I'm not digging on the Brewers' moves. I'm really not. They're a team that goes on the cheap all the time. You look at just how many struggles they have. Did we really think that what's his face was going to move the needle like Carlos Santana? Oh, and I even said this. Wow, I'm seeing it right now, folks. I gave this bet out on the Bettor Morning Show today. I said take the Washington Nationals on the money line. And I even said, I was like, I don't think that Milwaukee did anything, right? I don't think that they did enough, that they suck against lefties. And let's face it, the bullpen has been a little soft lately. And sure enough, here it is in the bottom of the 9th. Oh, yeah. Washington wins this one 3-2. Dollar bills, y'all. Come on. That was real time realizing that bet cash. So, yeah, there it is. Ring that register, baby.
Well, on that note, I'm kind of backing the Brewers here, and it's more of a fade of the Reds, though. So right now, the Reds are in first in that NL Central. I just think the Brewers are going to overtake them in the second half and win the Central. But at the same time, I see the Reds dropping out of the wild card race overall. I do agree with you that the Padres, the Phillies, the Giants, not so much the Diamondbacks for sure, because I don't like what they did either. But a lot of these teams are going to be starting to move up ahead of both the Brewers and the Reds. But I see the Brewers actually finishing first in that division. I'm minus 110 to win the NL Central before today's games, before they lost today. But even still, I just look at what they did compared to what the Reds did. The Reds did, nothing. They got Sam Moll as a reliever for the bullpen. They're basically just kind of rolling with what they have, and what they have is a talented but young, inexperienced, undisciplined offense. They got a lot of great hitters. I've been rolling with them in these best bets, but they've kind of been very consistent now and since the All-Star break. I think this is going to continue, kind of teams figuring out how to pitch to these guys. And the starting pitching is a big question mark for sure in the second half. I thought maybe they'd add a starter or two for that rotation, but they're kind of hoping and leaning that Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo coming back from injuries soon are just going to help the rotation out. I think that's a lot of kind of hope that those guys are going to be as effective coming back from injury, and the rest of the rotation is going to be fine around them. The Brewers, you mentioned they didn't do a ton, but I do like that they got Andrew Chafin from the Diamondbacks to kind of give another arm and balance out that bullpen besides Devin Williams. So maybe they aren't blowing leads like they did today. But then, getting a couple veteran bats is not bad for them. Mark Canha from the Mets and Carlos Santana from the Pirates is better than nothing than what the Reds did. If the Reds got these veteran bats, it'd be kind of a different view of it. But it was the Brewers getting them. I think it's just kind of mean the difference in this final stretch of the Brewers overtaking the Reds. And I think the Reds are just going to ultimately fall out plus 130 to not make the playoffs. I know you got the Reds futures.
No. You know what? I mean, listen, I don't hate the bet. I really don't. I mean, it definitely makes sense, especially when you see the fact that, the Reds are they're a young team and they struggled here to start the second half of the season. So, I mean, listen, you can't hate on the bet. I mean, the Brewers have been the favorites, for pretty much the entire season. I mean, have the odds dropped? Yeah, they have, but I mean, I'm not going to hate on the bet. I won't hate on the bet. I mean, listen, I already cashed on the Brewer against the Brewers today. I don't need to go against you here also.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So yeah, those are our bets for futures odds that we're all leaning towards for the second half. We'll kind of see how it shakes out, look at where we stand a month from now, but lots of movement with all these odds and stuff shifting after these trades. So going to be interesting. And by the way, yesterday, if you missed it, there was an MLB trade deadline show here on Bettor Sports Network. Colby Conway, Matt Sells. You can go watch that on YouTube at Fantasy Alarm or Bettor Sports Network. But also the article for free that lives on Fantasy Alarm. Go check that out for some written analysis on all the prospects and all the players that came back each way for all these trades. Whether you're looking to bet or play some fantasy baseball, DFS, everything. So check out the article, check out the show by Colby and Matt Sells, both killing it with all that stuff. And by the way, while you're at the fantasyalarm.com, if you haven't already, go check out the draft guide and the cheat sheet that are both up right now for fantasy football. The cheat sheet's awesome. It's just got everything you need for whatever draft you're doing over this next month. We got Thursday, we got preseason game, we got games starting up here, so it's time to get going on this draft prep. And you can get the draft guide for free with a monthly or annual subscription at Fantasy Alarm All Pro. You get that 7-day free trial at fantasyalarm.com/draft guide for the All Pro subscription, and you get the draft guide for free, or you can get it for $26.99. Not too much money there, but the cheat sheet is also just something you really want. That's up live at Fantasy Alarm. It's just, Howard can probably speak to it better, but it literally any kind of draft you need, any kind of rankings you need, position rankings, rookies, dynasty, we got everything there. So you get on it now before it's too late.
It's the biggest no-brainer. Like, there's so much about this that is the biggest no-brainer. No, I'm serious. The draft guide content is absolutely amazing. Yeah. Coop, Britt, Malin, and Pemba. I think you got involved in there. I mean, it's like the content I absolutely love. The cheat sheet is like the biggest bargain in the world because, you've got all of the rankings, like you just said, top 200, dynasty, super flex, and all of that stuff is right there. But in the cheat sheet, we also add in the dynamic tier rankings, which just makes you a better drafter in fantasy. And it's just, listen, it's just one of those things where, and I'll just say this, getting the All Pro subscription, the annual All Pro subscription, is actually cheaper than any other paid subscription out there right now. And they're doing that for football. We're doing it for every sport. So you'll finish off the baseball season. You got basketball, you got hockey coming up, obviously NFL, MMA. Servo, you're going to be doing some college football DFS and stuff like that too. So, I mean, this is, it's such a no-brainer. I don't want to sound like a corporate shill. I'm happy just to give out best bets here because they're hitting. I'm on a hot streak now. Woo. Let's go.
Yeah, same here. I've been filling in for you with the Best Bets article that you can get with that All Pro subscription behind the paywall over at Fantasy Alarm. But, gave a couple of the same ones out on the show yesterday, and we hit on them. This Cubs money train has been really, really good to me. So it's just something of why fade it at all. But the Best Bets article right now for me up on the site if you want to check that out. And let's get right to our top picks, our best bets for tonight. What's your top pick here?
Well, I love this matchup between Garrett Cole and Shane McClanahan. First 5 innings for that game, under 4. It's minus 125 on BetMGM. At least that's where I got it, what I got it at this morning. I'm not sure if that line moved at all. I don't think it is going to move. Like the over-under on that full game is still 7.5. So, I just think for the first 5 innings, I mean, I think it's going to be very, very low score. You've just got 2 extremely dominant pitchers, both in need of like big statement games here as these teams try to establish themselves for this final stretch run.
Yeah, on DraftKings, it's still at 4 minus 120 to the under there to go with that. Yeah, I like that bet. I gave this bet yesterday. I gave the full game and the first 5 under for Rays Yankees. The first 5 under did not cash it. It missed by 1 run, but the full game under did end up cashing there. So yeah, both these offenses kind of down. Obviously the Yankees, but the Rays too, just been a little bit down in recent weeks and the last month too. So yeah, like that call. And then we got 2 dominant pitchers on the mound going for a lot of playoff implications at stake there. My pick, another matchup with a ton of playoff movement: Phillies versus Marlins, both in that wild card hunt, and I'm going with the Phillies on the money line and the first 5 innings money line. I just really like this pitching matchup overall. Zach Wheeler versus Braxton Garrett. Wheeler's been, he's righted the ship here. I think 2.18 ERA in his 3 starts since the All-Star break. He's got quality starts in 7 of his last 9 outings and a 3.04 ERA in this span dating back to the last couple of months here. And he's still got some positive regression numbers, his FIP and expected ERA a lot lower and more on his career marks compared to his higher ERA right now. So this is a guy that I think he's still got some more better outings coming. He's been doing it lately, but I think he's going to keep it going. And the Marlins offense, bad versus righties all season, but over the past, since the All-Star break, past few weeks here, still just a bottom tier team, 288 WOBA, low WRC plus, ISO, all that stuff. So just a team that's not doing well against righties. I know they added Josh Bell and Jake Berger at the deadline here. I don't, we'll see if they're in the lineup tonight or not, but I don't think they're gonna do too much to really take this offense to a next level. So I like Wheeler to do his thing, and then just kind of faded Braxton Garrett too. Been up and down all season. I've targeted him. I've been on him, but shaky July, 5.92 ERA across 5 starts this month, and he's got some worries, some hard contact numbers. Bottom 10% of the league when you look at his StatCast numbers in multiple categories. And the Phillies been crushing lefties since the All-Star break. Top tier offense.
That's the key there. I love Garrett as like a strikeout guy, but with the way the Phillies been swinging the bats against southpaws, definitely makes me a little nervous on that.
Yeah, and the Marlins just 4-12 since the All-Star break. They're just trending in the wrong direction right now. We'll see if
I'm telling you, man, your teams are gonna just start creeping up on them in the NL, and that's why I think the Padres really have that capability. There's not a lot of strong teams like sitting right in front of them.
Yeah, the Cubs will probably move up too ahead of the Marlins at some point too at this rate. So
yeah, it could. I'll bet you it comes down to Cubs Padres for that final playoff spot. I'll bet you. What
do you think the 3 are? You think the Giants and Phillies still stay up there, or one of them falling out as well?
Or
you the Reds? You like the Reds to stay in there?
No. Let's see.
And the Brewers, Reds and Brewers.
Let me have a look. See, San Francisco. I just don't buy the Giants. I really don't. I think it could be Philly, the winner of the Central, and then either the Cubs or the Padres. I think Miami, Arizona, and San Francisco fall out.
I think Miami, Arizona for sure. San Francisco, I'm just really on the fence with. Something tells me they could just kind of hang around and keep hanging around.
Well, ask. Well, you know what? Let's go to our producer Adam Bernard and find out what year is it right now. Adam, what year is it right now? Is this a year for the Giants?
Well, since they tend to win in even numbered years, according to the trend, this would be an odd number year. So no, it's not. It's not in the cards for them. But 2024, you absolutely consider that.
Boom. There it is. Spoken like a true West Coaster himself right there. He knows. He knows. If you know, you know.
I moved to the West Coast in 2016, and my first impression of the Bay Area was that everybody thought the Giants were going to win the World Series because they had won it the previous 3 even-numbered years. So that's all that matters in baseball. Nothing else matters. They had to win it that year.
Dude, I moved out here in 07. When they won it in 2010, it was like, okay, great, love that. When they won it in 2012, it was like vomitous. And then when it ended up at 2014, it was ridiculous how like crazy the Bay Area was for it. That. Yeah, genuinely in 2016, they were like, we don't have to do anything. We're just gonna. They should just give us the trophy right now.
I mean, don't even play the season. Just everybody gets the season off. That's it.
Yep.
They only have one player left from those teams, right?
Brandon Crawford.
He's the last holdover.
They're still paying like 3/4 of that team because they doled out all these idiot contracts right afterwards. Right? Oh yeah, we're gonna pay Aubrey Huff all this money.
Aubrey Huff.
Oh my God.
There's only a couple of players left from that. Brandon Belt's left in the league, but not in the Giants. But
yeah, just pack them in. Pack them in. They're done. They're done. They're done. They stink like Brian Wilson's beard.
Pretty stinky.
All right, what else? What else you rolling with tonight?
All right, what am I rolling with tonight? Let's see. All right. Well, you know what? I gave you the under on that Rays Yankees game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the plus money, and I'm just going to take the Rays on the money line. I think that, I mean, listen, this legit could go either way, but the Rays are making moves, and they know that they've got to stay ahead of the Orioles. The Yankees didn't make moves. They're sticking with what they've got, and I just don't think what they've got is enough to get it done. So I think McClanahan outduels Garrett Cole. And the Rays win this one for plus 100. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, getting either team for plus odds on that one because you mentioned it's gonna be a low scoring game. We basically got a pitcher's duel here, and I think I mean you're on it too, but I think I'd rather be on the Rays side of things than the Yankees at this point. So yeah, plus money for that, not bad. I'll give you a plus money pick too. The Orioles money line. Broke down this one for the Best Bets article over on Fantasy Alarm if you want to check some more analysis out. But basically, I just have faith in Grayson Rodriguez kind of keeping it going. He's looked a lot better since he's back in this rotation. Got demoted early in the year, but just tossed a 6 1/3 scoreless versus the Yankees his last time out. Got a 3.18 ERA in his 3 starts back in the Orioles rotation. And just pitching a lot better. And the Blue Jays offense versus righty has been very, subpar below average over the past couple weeks. So Blue Jays just kind of underperforming. And, we'll see if Bichette is in the lineup tonight. I'm not sure he will be because he's been he just suffered an injury the other day. We'll see if they give him another day off or not. But the Orioles offense obviously is the big thing here. I mean, just lit up Hyun-Jin Ryu last night. I gave the Orioles out last night and came through because the Orioles versus lefties has been a very winning strategy this year. But yeah, put up 13 runs last night. I think they're gonna, not do the same thing, but they're gonna do a lot against Yusei Kikuchi. I think because the Orioles versus lefties top 10 offense in the split all season. Last 2 weeks, 346 WOBA, 228 ISO versus lefties. And Kikuchi is just kind of he's very up and down, and a lot of his metrics, his FIP is a full run higher than his ERA, high strand rate too. So I just don't think it's going to bode well for him against the O's here. And getting the Orioles at plus money right now is like,
yeah. Listen, dude, I'm more than happy to support that cause. I mean, Baltimore needs this; they really do. I mean, they've been. I mean, they haven't been relevant. They haven't been relevant since like the late 90s, right? And that was when were battling out with the Yankees. So yeah, listen, I'm perfectly fine going with the Orioles there. I think, oh yeah, you know what? You made it your best bet. So it's one of my bets here. The Phillies money line. I actually got it at -125 on DK. You got it -122 on FanDuel. So
similar odds though.
I miss out though. I definitely miss out. Yeah, so I went in that direction. And then for a last one here, because I again had some action in the early games and kind of shied away from some of the stuff that was going on at night. But this matchup here for the for the Kansas City Royals, the Mets and the Royals, right? Two dog crap franchises right now who are just cock-a-poo-poo. So you know what? I'm just gonna say that Kodai Senga and his ghost forkball helped dominate a super weak, horrendously weak Kansas City lineup. So I'll take the team total under 3.5 runs for the Royals in this game, -105 on BetMGM. With the exception of Bobby Witt Jr. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at. Are any of these players, or any of the players, maybe Sal Perez, is he the only holdover from the World Series rematch between the Mets and the Royals?
I think it's Salvi for the Mets.
Oh, you know who else? Probably what's his face? Whit Merrifield. Is he still?
No, he's on the Blue Jays.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's over in Toronto now. Like, who's anybody on this? Let me go to
looking up the. I don't know about the Mets, but I think for the
Mike Moustakas.
Mike Moustakas is in Anaheim.
He's in
now.
the Angels. Yeah.
Oh, he's still active.
What about Greinke? Was Greinke on the 2015 team?
Active. Yeah, we got a bunch of guys, but
was Greinke on the 2015 team? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Brady Singer?
He was on like the Astros at that point.
Let's see. Where's Brady Singer's career stats? Nope. Sorry, Brady Singer, not old enough.
The Royals would definitely have more turnover than the Mets. But looking at the Mets, I mean, the only guys I'd say maybe was McNeil on that team back in 2015.
Dude, I don't know, man. 2015 seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
McNeil. I'm
looking at this
before he got
roster.
hurt was
who else would it be?
This is great TV, right?
It's great TV here right now. I'm just curious. I think it's warranted to be able to take a look at that. So you said Jeff McNeil possibly. Nope. 2018 was his rookie year. So maybe not. So there you go. Fresh meat here for Kansas City against the New York Mets. But again, I'm just saying that the team total for the Royals and their inept batting order is just not going to be able to do it against Kodai Senga.
All right. Well, I to tease it coming up in our Diamond Dogs, I might have a pick that's kind of going against this one. So I'll give my disagreement there. A couple of the picks I got going here. I guess I got a few more than you, but I'll just roll through these. Ryan Mountcastle over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Went with this last night and it cashed. I'm going with it again because he crushes lefties. He's hitting 372 with a 1091 slug since the All-Star break. So he's hot in general, but against lefties, 337 batting average, a 1055 OPS, and over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 9 of 12 games. Started since the All-Star break. So he's coming in good right now. And he's a Blue Jays killer. You look at his career numbers against the Blue Jays, over 300 batting average, 15 home runs in 46 career games against the Jays. And Kikuchi just kind of struggling against right-handed pitching compared to lefties. So, give me Mountcastle -150 on BetMGM to go over hits, runs, RBIs.
Cool. I like it. What else?
Another one, mentioned the Cubs earlier, and I'm just rolling with Bellinger again. This cashed last night, and it just keeps cashing, and especially against a lefty tonight that he's got. He's got Brandon Williamson, and he's got better numbers, does Bellinger, versus lefties than righties. So 347 average, 1042 OPS versus lefties. Swinging a hot bat since the All-Star break. Been over this 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 20 of the last 27 games now. And Williamson, he's had decent outings lately, but still got a high ERA this year, and I don't think he's going to have much success against this Cubs lineup. Struggled against them earlier this year, so I think Bellinger will be a big part of the Cubs putting up a lot of runs again. I didn't give out their team total tonight as I usually do, but you can roll with that too, because I just think they're going to jump on Williamson here, and Bellinger will be a part of it. And then the last one, or I guess two more. Diamondbacks Giants over 8 here, sneaky over, I think, because the Diamondbacks and Giants offenses are not, they've been trending in the worst direction lately. We're just talking about these teams for the wild card, but Slade Cecconi making his MLB debut for the Diamondbacks tonight, 6.38 ERA at AAA before being called up, and he had an issue with home runs. I think that's going to be a problem here because winds blowing out 25 miles per hour in San Francisco. And I know that stadium doesn't, kind of suppresses wind, compared to, Wrigley Field or others. But I think the 25 mile per hour winds will be tough for Cecconi to deal with here. And then, it's Logan Webb on the other side. He's got great numbers at home, so it's tough to ignore that. But he did allow 4 runs to Arizona at home back in June, and has a 4.26 ERA spanning the last 2 months. So he's having some issues lately. A couple shaky outings, and the Diamondbacks top 10 offense versus righties over the last 2 weeks in a multiple categories. So I think the Giants will jump on Slade Cecconi here, and Logan Webb will allow a few runs to get that game over, full game over there.
Is it Cecconi or Ciccone? What do we think?
I have no idea. I just saw he was starting and looked him up and saw he had an ERA in the 6s and AAA. So I don't think it's going to go too well.
Nice.
And then the last one I have here is Dakota Hudson under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 155 on DraftKings. This is just so he's entering the Cardinals rotation because they just dealt away Jordan Montgomery and Jack Flaherty at the deadline. But he's only made 1 start this year, and last year, he was in the rotation. But this 4.5 strikeout line is way too high. I think it's at least a strikeout too high for him because he went under 4.5 strikeouts in 23 of 26 starts last year, and averaging only 3 strikeouts per start. He's never been a big, K pitcher. And this year he only has a 14% strikeout rate, 13 Ks over 19 and a third innings overall. He's been in the bullpen, only made 1 spot start, but I just think this 4.5 line. I know the Twins he's facing are a very high strikeout team, but they also have been crushing righties overall lately in terms of WOBA and all that. So I think they're going to get to him here. I don't think he's going to last too long either. So I think there's value under 4.5. I just think that line's a little too long. So that's enough of me talking. I've been just rolling through my picks here, but
why not, man? Listen, that's what everybody's here for, right? They want to hear the picks that we're on. These are the picks that you're on. These are the picks that you make. What I have to say really doesn't mean a whole hill of beans here right now.
Oh, it means plenty. We'll get to some of your picks now because we got to give out some plus money diamond dog picks for Wednesday night. Let's get to them.
I'm rounding up the Diamond Dogs.
Who the are the Diamond Dogs?
It's just a group of people who care, Roy. Not unlike folks at a hip-hop concert whose hands are not in the air.
What do you got? What do you got for your Diamond Dog?
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We talked about it throughout this entire show. Why wouldn't I say the Baltimore Orioles money line? Gonna give it to me for plus 105. I'm in on that, man. I love what we're seeing from Baltimore right now. I think that they are absolutely in a great spot. Like you said, they hit lefties extremely well. And you say Kikuchi he seems to have gone back to pitching to more contact in the last several starts. So give me the O's right there. Build that momentum, boys.
I like it. Yeah, we're both on the O's and both on the Phillies tonight. I love it. I'm going to go with the so this is I mentioned it earlier, but the Royals money line at plus 148 on FanDuel. I just think there's value right now in fading this Mets team. Who did you see how they lost last night? By the way,
yeah, listen, they're garbage team, garbage organization. I'll give you this one as long as the Royals win it like 3-2.
oh yeah, it could be a low scoring game for sure. But did you see how they lost last night specifically?
No, not specifically. What'd they do?
They lost so they were up 6-4 and going into the 10th inning, I think. And then because they were tied after 9, and then they scored a couple runs in the top of the 10th, 6-4 in the 10th, get the bases loaded, allow a couple runs to score. It's 6-6. Bases are still loaded. And then they bring in a reliever. I don't even know who the reliever was. And the guy balks, has a pitch clock snafu, and he balks in the winning run.
That's so Mets.
It's so Mets, and it's just
so Mets.
They're losing games right now. They're just sold away. They're top guys. So yeah, I'm just kind of fading them, but don't feel great about going against Kodai Senga. But I think the plus money on the Royals is a good value right now because I don't think their Mets are that much better than them right now.
The Royals can win this one. They just can't score more than 3 runs tonight.
Fair.
That's it.
All right, let's give some home run predictions out to the people before we get away for today. Go to our daily dingers for tonight.
Now that's a dinger.
Well, I almost hate to go with my home run call here tonight, but I'm going to take some low-hanging fruit here against, I don't even know who this guy is pitching for the Royals tonight. So give me Pete Alonso at plus 400 to, park one into the seats tonight. I love the lefty-righty matchup. It's Alonso. So, we'll back the polar bear. Again, just 3-2. That's fine. We can all get along here. But one of those runs that the Mets scores has to be a Pete Alonso home run.
Yeah, you got Cole Ragans starting for the Royals. That's the guy's name.
Bilbo Baggins is what? He's leaving the Shire to go pitch for the Royals. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, something like that.
Getting second breakfast on the mound.
Listen, Alonso can get his solo home run, and I'm fine with it. Okay. Rolling with Ryan Mountcastle is my pick. I gave out his hits, runs, RBIs earlier, but just going with him to go deep. Plus 425 on DraftKings. I mentioned earlier, he's just crushing lefties. He's on a roll right now. In his career versus Yusei Kikuchi, by the way, 5 for 10 with 4 home runs in his career versus in that matchup. So Kikuchi also allowing more home runs, 17 of his 22 homers to righties this season. So it's all lining up for Mountcastle, to keep it going. He didn't go deep last night against the lefty, and I think he's going to do it tonight. So I like the plus 425. It's really juicy for him. By the way, I gave out
the best.
I gave out that pick last night at plus 500, and it's a little shortened odds tonight. So I like that even more.
Gotta like it. Gotta like it.
By the way, I was looking up the Royals Mets lineup from game 1 of the 2015 World Series.
Oh,
do you want to try to guess some of these guys?
What do we got?
Well, do you want to try to guess, or do you want to just read it off?
All right. Royals. First base is Eric Hosmer. Second base is Whit Merrifield.
No,
it's not. Merrifield was he in the outfield?
No, this might have been before Merrifield.
Wow, before Merrifield. Moustakas at third.
Yes.
Shortstop. Oh, who's the shortstop for the Orioles for the Royals then? God damn. I don't know. Go ahead.
Won a Gold Glove, I think.
Go ahead. Hit me with the lineup. What was it?
Alcides Escobar at short.
Alcides Escobar.
We had Ben Zobrist at second.
Ah.
Lorenzo Cain in center.
Mm-hmm.
Hosmer, Kendrys Morales at DH.
Kendrys Morales.
Moustakis, Salvador Perez at catcher. Alex Gordon in left.
Damn.
Alex Rios in right, with the starting pitcher being Edison Valquez for game one.
Oh my god. Now I feel old.
The Mets, you want to try for them or just
No. They had dog crap at first, cockapoo at second, turd in a punch bowl playing short, and farts a lot at third base, right? Was that who it was?
Oh, farts a lot is David, right? That's what you're saying. No, I will say Matt Harvey was the starting pitcher for them, so that was a while ago. All right, well, appreciate everyone tuning in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show. We're here every day at 4:00 Eastern on the Bettor Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm YouTubes. So appreciate everyone tuning in here. Coming up next, we got the Quick Pitch MLB DFS live show with John and Pemba and James Grande, as they do every day, giving you guys some DFS advice. 6 p.m. Eastern here, Sports Bettor Court with Daniel Lust. Awesome show with him. New show we got going. And then 7 p.m. Eastern, the FSGA College Football Fantasy Draft presented by Campus to Canton. They actually had me on to kind of break down some of their draft that was going on yesterday and kind of giving some advice on what the picks were. So you can hear that full broadcast tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern. That'll be cool. And then 10 p.m. Eastern, the Tour Junkies with David Barnett and Pat Perry. So keep it locked here on Bettor Sports Betting and catch Howard too, the Fantasy Alarm Show on Sirius XM Fantasy tonight, 6 to 8 Eastern, as he always does. That'll be, I know him and Jim Bowden got a lot to talk about with this trade deadline moves and all that. But appreciate everyone tuning in here. Howard, good luck with your picks tonight, and hopefully we can all get along with we both got the Orioles and the Phillies, so at least we agree on those, right?
Orioles, Phillies, and 3-2 Kansas City wins tonight.
There we go.
3-2. That's it. With
and
a Pete Alonso home run.
A 3-2 Rays win for you too, right?
Oh yeah, I need a super low scoring Rays win. You know what? Give me 1-0 Rays.
There we go. No sweat there. All right, everyone. Appreciate tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow at 4:00 Eastern here on Bettor Sports Network. Later.
Bettor Sports Betting on the Bettor Sports Network.